What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Millennial Issues. So, due to the recent happening in Jamaica, politics and everything has been on the forefront for the last month or so. So today we're tackling the issue of politics. And, as usual, we're looking at how it affects young people. So, today, Trina is back with us.
Hi!
And you don't know Andre there.
Hey guys!
Kim is here.
What's up?
And Sandrine.
Hey!
Alright, so guys, we're gonna head straight into it. So, do you think that young people, specifically millennials, are disinterested in politics?
Yes. Millennials are in fact disinterested in politics. Maybe not everyone, but a majority of us are actually disinterested in politics.
I have to agree with Trina because I did a political course first year, second semester, and in the class we were talking about it was Gov 1000.
Yeah. Oh my.
And basically spoke about how the educated mass is who don't vote. They don't care about politics, and even if they do, it's just a conversation in my living room, a conversation with my friends. No one's going out to vote. No one's trying to exercise the franchise.
Yeah.
No one even knows what that means these days.
Exactly.
I think we don't care because we don't see how it directly affects us. And if we are to be honest, I think a lot of us, young people, we feel so entitled that we feel like if we're not getting something directly from it, if it's not benefiting us cash-wise or putting us on the market or anything, if it's not branding us or we're not collecting money, we don't care about it.
And this is why we have the issue of, buying votes in Jamaica, because everybody just wants something, me vote for you, just buy me a beer, buy me a box food and things. So we don't understand the weight that our vote carries, and that's one of the things I think I always want them to teach ethics from primary school, so you can understand how important your vote is in changing anything. Because that's majority of the time the voter turnout in any election these days is so low.
It's 20-30%.
I don't think it has ever surpassed 50%.
No.
Never exceed.
And that's sad because when you look at, we're the very same person who we complain. So for those of us who watch the news, or even if we don't watch news, you're on social media, especially particularly Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we rant on Twitter, we young people.
Yes.
I would do this, I would tweet this, I would retweet this, and we'll make it our social commentary.
Yes.
I would talk about this politician and this that's happening, and all of that. We talk about economy. We use everything we are learning at school. I will pull it together on Twitter. But what happens after that? We don't go anywhere to vote. We don't listen to it. We don't go to any of the forums, any of the seminars.
We don't go to
going on.
We don't go to the political rallies.
Nope.
We don't.
Yeah, I was about to make that note because it's so ironic that we add to the discourse on social media, but still we don't exercise our political franchise, which is very ironic. So it says that something is lacking.
We are discouraged, I believe, because if you realize, even when you try to get in politics as a millennial, as a youth, it's pretty much hard because you have people 70 years and over still occupying these spots. So it's not that we are not interested sometimes. It's just that we're discouraged because even when you try, sometimes you just don't reach because
there's no room for you.
Exactly. Nobody's giving up them space. 70 years and you're supposed to stop working at what, 60, 65?
As Kim said that, did we hear the minister the other day that said that he's not stepping down because he has a lot of bright ideas?
Oh, Mike Henry!
I've been wanting Mike Henry to retire for so long.
He said, and I quote, he's not going anywhere because the young people have nothing to offer.
And that
dear. He has he has a lot of ideas and something that he wants to bring forward. And I'm saying, you're telling me that all the young people in Parliament, that they sat down and listened to him say that, and then beat the decks and then behave and them galang, no one could have get up and said, no, Mr. Henry, that is not the way.
He couldn't have actually said that.
You're there.
In Parliament?
Y'all need to go look it up. Y'all need to go look it up.
That's the thing though, Mike Henry is, if I'm not mistaken, Mike Henry is 84 years old.
He is.
He's the same age as my grandmother.
How is it that
Why is he still in politics?
The man said, no, I have no plans for go anywhere soon.
You see, this is really really the problem, because if you have a 84, whoa, I didn't know it was 84.
Yeah, my friend is very old.
If you have an 84-year-old in Parliament,
he's not the only one,
and you're not moving, and you're saying you have bright ideas. Where are these bright ideas? The country needs these bright ideas.
What exactly? I was about to ask. What are you waiting on?
I realize
the bright ideas, Mr. Mike Henry.
I realize the problem is, if as a politician you're not in the higher position, as in you're not the leader of the party, you don't want to give us these ideas. So nobody wants to say, hey, this is a strategy that can correct crime, unless they're leading. I mean, even our opposition members,
all they do is oppose.
They take the word opposition too literal, and they're forgetting that they're not for themselves, they're for us. And if you really care about a country, if you really care about the people of the country, then you'd not always oppose to everything.
I believe everybody wants to say at the end of the day that they are the one responsible for implementing this particular initiative.
Yeah, that's one of the things I always said. I always think Jamaican politicians were myopic, right? They can't see past the 4 years they're in power.
Yeah.
So they always do like little initiatives that they can do in a year or 2 years or 3 years. So when it comes to the end of the 4 or 5 year period,
it ends.
Prime Minister of Jamaica, did this and I did that, because everybody just wants to say. Because sometimes I think there are some programs that we can initiate in Jamaica, but they will take 10 years. But because, you want to get re-elected, you don't do anything that can't pass 4 years. And then if I do a good project, and let's say it takes 10 years, at the end of my 4 or 5 years, the opposition, if they do win, they're not going to continue it. So sometimes it's like, I think Jamaican politics, like the best description I can give is like a Steel River. It's really... At this point, I don't think it's going anywhere.
Honestly, because the next thing is, even though there are a lot of old people, there are some young ones who are coming in. However, the young ones aren't making any difference, because all of them grew up under the same administration.
They're falling in the trap.
And they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're just their apprentices, and they come in and they have the exact same ideas, no new views. They're not representing us, and it's really disheartening. For example, I thought that Damian Crawford was going to come with something new, something different, something wonderful, because he had such promise. Because remember, before he left the PNP, because remember, he was forced out of the PNP by his very same comrades. And I thought, all right, yes, he's coming back, he's coming with something bright and fresh and new.
With a fresh
but then
attitude.
He comes on the political circuit and he's behaving just like his predecessors. And I'm just like, you don't deserve to win, honestly.
Exactly. I guess that was one of his major downfalls as well.
The people didn't expect. Like the other day when I saw, and I was like, you are very cantankerous.
Yes.
For real.
I like cantankerous,
And a lot of people did not know this about him.
Yes, because he had such a facade. He was such a nice
He's a young, educated man, and they're expecting this thing.
I was disappointed because I remember once when I was in high school, my family went at me when I said, oh, I like Damian Crawford. My family is die-hearted. This is one of the problems in Jamaica. We're too die-hearted.
Rubbish. What is
too die-hearted? And I was like listening to Crawford, like back then, fresh Crawford, and I was like, yo, if I should vote, definitely Crawford. And me get burned out. Big up my family, them were there. On the burn me out. But that's like, but I believed in him, but then the other day I was disappointed.
I was so disappointed.
Especially how he treated Anne-Marie. His comments were very disheartening.
I mean, it's politics and everybody getting their feelings, everybody getting their emotional. But what happened to emotional intelligence?
A
lecturer should have known anything.
Exactly.
I read an article by Michael Abrahams, and he was looking at it from like where they keep going wrong, because it seems as if the parties aren't learning from each other.
No.
And they're not learning about what was said, because I remember Andrew Holness used the same argument against Portia Simpson Miller in 2011, and that's what made him lose the election.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me that in 2019, 8 years later, you are going to come with the same argument against another woman after you knew that the opposition had failed? Why don't you set a stand and be like, Anne-Marie, I respect you for what you're doing in the constituency, but I know that I can come with something better.
That is respect. They
don't exactly, and then they wonder why the country is failing because our heads are failing. Yeah. And if your head failing, then
it's like the 21st century, and women are coming up, right?
Exactly.
And women are in power, and we see so much things about women getting them on the same platform, and then somebody who has multiple masters and lauds himself for lecturing in almost every university in Jamaica, and then he comes out and he makes a statement like that, and you're like, sir, really?
But
I remember I saw a comment on Twitter, and somebody was like, said, Amen Crawford really missed my class for going to lose the election.
Honestly, because people were always talking about how we've never come to them class for true, because them said I'm having from here.
I'm not even going to go there, but I mean, Damon Crawford is young. He's, we can call him a millennial.
I think he's about 36.
I mean,
he's the same age as Protege, and Protege is 37.
People are even now consider him as probably the upcoming political leader for PN because of the whole controversy. I don't know. I don't think he's putting enough. I don't think he's putting enough.
No, I'm not. I mean, but there's a flip side for me, guys. Because when I look at Anne-Marie Vaz, my concern is, and I've expressed this, what is the requirement to be a political leader?
True.
Well, we have a youth parliamentarian inside, Sheldon. Do you mind
shed light on that first?
Right. Because I have an issue.
Requirements, I don't really think there are too much requirements. I think it's pretty much your nationality is what allows you to
nationality, age, and
I think once you're above 18 and you're a Jamaican citizen or you've been living,
you are eligible.
Because I know for councillors, it's you have to be 21, residing in the parish for a year. No, in the constituency that you're running in for a year, and you have people to prove that you have been living there for a year and you've been enumerated. I think that's it to be councillor. So I believe member of parliament is 25.
But see, the issue with that now is we ask our nation's children, our nation's people to be educated. We ask them to attain a certain level of education. We ask them to be, competent in some kind of way. Yet, the leaders that we vote for, the leaders that we elect, the leaders that we put in place to basically ensure that our country goes in its best direction possible, are the ones that lack these very requirements.
I think the only thing she has is a high school.
She doesn't have a high school diploma, actually. She dropped out in 8th grade. But the thing is,
and it's not just about her, I'm talking about your general overall.
And I don't believe she needed to finish high school.
Some more stringent requirements for our politicians.
But here's the thing, I don't really believe you need a degree to be a politician. And I don't really think you need to finish high school. You just need to be able to prove.
Can we just...
Alright, so guys, I read an Observer article by Shalman Scott, and he says 2016 was the lowest voter turnout in Jamaica's election history, right? So I want to ask you guys, why do you think our voter turnout is so low, and will it be a constant feature of Jamaican politics going forward?
I think over the years, and it goes back to the educated mass, we've lost faith in Jamaican politics because we've seen we've seen where, as we rightly said, all opposition does is oppose. Yeah. And we find that the current party, what they do is that they try to get this whole heap of stuff out, as is with our current government. They're trying really hard. I'm not gonna say they've done a lot to try and prove that they're trying to make the country better. But the issue is they're trying to take out 100 things in a space that can only hold 35. You understand? And because we're seeing these things, we understand that, or we think rather, because I don't think we understand. We think that, it doesn't matter whether or not I vote because the country is going nowhere.
Exactly.
Unless they replace these people. But they forget the only way to replace them is if we voice our concerns, our issues, and vote. Yeah. So it goes beyond just talking about it. But it's making that action happen.
Yeah.
And I think, as I said, we've lost the confidence, and we don't see the importance of adding to, because we've forgotten that we are the government.
That's true. Alright, so Kim, right, so I was listening when they spoke about the Argentina Donaldson poll, right? And polls have become such a main feature in elections, but do polls rather really have an impact in like deciding? Because I'm wondering, if I see like Donaldson's poll and my MP is leading, am I going to vote, or am I going to like vote just because I want to make sure say me give him the upper hand? So do polls like in the 21st century, should they like withhold them to like after the elections, or is there like a time period they should allow them to like issue them out or something?
For me, I mean, it goes both ways. Maybe for you it works, and maybe for me it doesn't. What I can say is that if I know that maybe a poll will convince me to do something I don't want to do, then I'll stay away from it. I think they're trying to somehow bring about transparency in the election period, and that is one of the main reasons they have polls. So, of course, if Andre is running for MP and Andre is the person I'm ranting for, and Trina is there leading, and I see this on the poll, it would push me, to go out and vote. So I really think it's a way to get people to think more who they want for their leader and go out and find the persons who haven't voted to actually get them. And as I said, transparency, but it's okay for me, because if you make up your mind and you're just not going to vote, you're just not going to vote. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
I think polls are very effective because it shows the party that is not perhaps successful in that poll. It shows them the deficiencies in terms of what they are not doing.
Yeah,
so it forces you to look and be more strategic. So I think it's really useful to use poll prior to the election.
Yeah, so when we were young, I remember like PNP, well, we were still young. When we were much younger, I remember PNP was in power for like 18 or maybe like 19
it was 18
years.
18 and a half.
18 and a half.
18 years.
So Trina, like having one party in power for so long.
Oh my God.
Like, what do you make of having one party in power for like 18 years?
Oh no, that's...
Like, one person could have born when PJ take the reins and turn an adult when him give it up.
I personally believe that there should be term limits for our prime ministers.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. In America, they have I believe it would foster greater competition, number one. Because in America, you have so many persons going up for president because there's only so much time you can spend in power. But on the flip side, you can look at where, suppose someone is going well, and you're just like, okay, we want them to continue. But nobody particularly listen up that one. In them 18 years, they're still...
We're younger. So we're as cognizant of what
I have spoken to people who've been alive to the 18
But we read things, and we see how the economy transform and all of that.
I mean, because it's frightening to think of where we went in that period, the late 80s into the 90s, into the early 2000s. That was a very difficult time for Jamaica.
Yes, it was.
And to prevent that from happening, I believe that we should institute term limits, because I don't think that should ever happen again, because we should be learning from our mistakes.
Precisely.
So far, I've actually really appreciated the turnovers that occurred. Like, since I've been cognizant of politics, it was PNP, then JLP, then PNP, then JLP again. And I appreciate that. However, I'm not sure where it's going to go next. But I not hate that. I don't hate that. I don't hate that I'm not sure of where it's going to go, because it gives a greater avenue to say, yes, this is where I can make an informed decision based on what I'm seeing.
What you've seen, right?
And I feel like that's not how people were voting before. Because, everybody had die hard this,
rubbish.
Me bad, shower, bad. Oh my goodness.
How for the people?
I don't understand.
My grandmother said to me one time, she was like, if them put one dog in a one orange shirt, everybody gonna vote for him. And I used to laugh, and then I look at it, I'm like, it's serious. Because
very
I'm pretty
serious.
sure if like in some constituencies you put a brown dog in our orange shirt and say "Am I your NP?"
Them vote.
Just because you're in our orange shirt, people are going to vote. And
That's
it's
with
so
my
sad.
constituency. And that's another thing. I believe we should have term limits for members of parliament.
As well.
Especially in the system where we live, where it's the most votes per parliamentarian, which is what creates the government. Because my parliamentarian or current parliamentarian, you will not hear this, but he is no longer who is representing us. But there was no official handing over, so he didn't. He retired, and there is now someone else in his place. But they didn't do that officially. I honestly don't know the name of the new person who is in charge, but this man, the one that retired recently, he has been the member of parliament for, where is it? Where do we live? Northwest St. Catherine? We either live in Northwest or Northeast St. Catherine. And he has been the member of parliament since 2019, right? So 28 years. So he's been there since the 1980s, late 1980s, early 1990s.
89, 90,
and when on a road, when on a water, we do not have running water in our constituency.
Yikes.
Because we get water, you know, but it's illegal. We are not on the end of the season line. Yes, me can say. Listen,
you have to do what you have to do to survive.
At Bridgewater, we get gravity fed water, and they tried to put us on the system, but it wasn't working because they don't have any pumps. The pumps keep running up, and we have no representation to say, yo, this is what the people them forget. When we lost our roads, in Upper Six when I was doing Cape. Metal said water wash for our road. We on a road. It was a big gap in our road. And I remember I was speaking to the councillor, and the man told me that I didn't know what I was talking about, because when they were building the highway, they had a meeting. This was in 2007. And they told us that we shouldn't worry because the water that they were diverting wouldn't be able to affect our roads. But it did. They channeled all of the gullies and main streams and directed them into one small culvert. And that culvert destroyed our road. And I told the man, yo, he's just like, the engineers that they brought in said that this would not happen. And furthermore, none of your houses are on record at the parish council. And I was just like, sir, we've been living here all our lives. We know what happens. You cannot tell us that is not what is causing this. And he dismissed me and told me that I couldn't talk to him because he knows my father JLP. And I was just like,
what would that have mattered? And what would that have mattered? I hate not doing anything, and that's the problem
that's the problem. And I believe that if there were term limits, this would not have been allowed to continue. But
you'd have been forced to fix the problem.
Exactly.
As long as the uneducated in our community, because we're a rural community and not a lot of persons have the wherewithal to understand that you don't have to vote for him. The chicken back when the chicken when the rum when come up there and buy food is not going to fix the situation.
Yeah. And by the time you vote for him, the chicken back cook already.
And
what are you going to do afterwards?
And the other thing that hurt me most about that exact same situation, or a member of parliament briefly visited, because they're not, by the way, they're not the ones that fixed our roads. Big up the taxi man them over Treadways when it fixed the road in 2017 after the water didn't mash up the road because of the taxi man them, and the man them would drive come round. There's a superintendent from the Linstead police station. Him and his wife drive go up the gully course and full sandbag. And one of them come down and then pack it cut out and then pack it with stone and pack it with sand. I remember a member of parliament drove up in him Range Rover with him bodyguard and him driver and him stick him hand through the window and him wave. But best believe when it's our next election, 2021, believe that 2021 them are going to vote for him.
But Trina is going to run for this constituency.
Honestly,
vote Trina, guys.
Honestly, I am going to
Trina for Northeast, Northeast
I've
and
actually
Catherine.
been planning to run for council for a while, but I don't know if I would get the support because that message.
So guys, you're hearing, remember, vote for Trina.
Northeast,
vote for Trina.
Northeast St. Catherine, but it's a PNP stronghold. I'm not say only people know my father. I did JLP. I'm a man. I did JLP. So to get the votes, I would want to run an independent ticket. But if you get like support and stuff, you have to align yourself to a party. That's the next issue. Yeah, maybe get somebody else a chance.
But you can look at the fact that the political landscape has been changing. Yeah. So I don't think it's a matter of political tribalism anymore, because when you look
it still is there, but it's
somewhat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you look at the recent concluded by-election, that particular seat was a 30-year PNP safe seat. So people thought that Damien Crawford would have ultimately won the seat. So now that Anne-Marie Vaz has won, it has changed the whole narrative behind that. I know people, it has caused a really big confusion, because now people want Dr. Peter Phillips to be removed because they're saying that he's a weak political leader, among other related issues. So I don't think it's no longer an issue of political tribalism.
Alright guys, so Sandrine just stepped out. Yeah, she has class. The life of a university student.
as Trina, continuing on Trina's point, when I was growing up, so my family, as I said, they are JLP supporters. My grandmother said she decided to switch from PNP when they got a new MP back then, long before me even think about it. And she said the MP said, when he gets what he wants, St. Mary, Jeffertown in particular, will be in the back of his head back. So everybody started, they know why. So my grandmother said she went home and asked her father what does being in the back of somebody's head back meant. And he said, basically they don't remember you. And my grandmother said, wow, but that was what the man said. And then automatically that caused her to shift. I support Trina saying they get certain
term limits.
Term limits, because when you get term limits, it simply means that your proposal or whatever, your manifesto, you'll try to complete it as much as possible. When you know you can always be re-elected and you will take this
20 years.
Take this advantage of the time you have, and you can always be buying people's vote and all that. You don't have time for that when you get term limits. So I always say to my grandmother, the country not fixing. Why what soldier them do? Why them we just feel like Jamaica for just overthrow the politician them. Sorry, kill off the whole of them and just take. Sometimes I get really angry about our political system that may say, what are these soldiers doing? We're not educated people in the army anymore. For just kidnap some of them, assassinate some of them. Like, oh my God.
Here's the thing. We used to talk about this jokingly. I'm not saying.
No, jokingly it is there, but in the back of my head back sometimes I feel like I want to I mean, like, yo. Sometimes I feel like it's the best decision.
We were talking once and we said, me know the whole of we did serious. If we could have dropped one bang gun house and start fresh.
I swear.
I'm going tired.
One Tuesday at 3 o'clock when everybody inside. So we can start over from fresh, because that's what we need, because they're not leaving.
Yeah.
We need fresh leaders, honestly. We need fresh
ideas.
Fresh leaders, right? Let's bring it a little closer to home. So but a month ago or so, the recent Human Guild election concluded, right? And we have the Guild-elect PRO sitting with us, Mr. Andre Cooper.
Hello, I'm in the building.
Alright, so I want to get some of your views on what happened, because my favorite part of the elections was the debate. Every time I hear the name Christina Williams, I remember when she said, I thought Tracer was a woman's job. And that ended the entire elections. Honestly, you can ask Christina, I was literally on the floor laughing. It was and I think somebody mentioned, I remember hearing Justice from Department of Government. He mentioned an African proverb once. He said, when two brothers fight over the kingdom, a stranger will inherit it.
Amen.
I thought that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Looking at how Chancellor handled it, I was like, well, this makes a lot of sense. Because Christina would have been the stranger.
Because here's the thing, this is what they did. They focused their entire campaigns on belittling each other.
Right. And even belittling Christina.
Belittling Christina. I remember in the latter stages of campaigning, when we're not saying that this is what happened, but it seemed as if to leverage votes, Mr. Gentles was supplementing tickets to carnival events. Subsidizing. Thank you.
And there was even a question that arose that if it was a part of his campaign,
because then it would have gone over the 35,000 limit. That was the budget. So then they were saying, it wasn't. But it was very funny to see them fighting between themselves, and Christina was quietly debating, and here's the thing: a lot of people hadn't even planned to vote for Christina, but it was the mess that happened
at the debate.
The mess at the debates, because Janoy and Adrian were shouting at each other in the debate.
And then
why you so lie?
Yeah.
When Siobhan did that,
I was disappointed.
I was like, what? Is this our guilt president?
I mean, I must reiterate though, election comes with a lot of emotion. I do understand, but as university students, and we're facing the problem with our government, and I'm saying, are these the people who really are going to go out into the wider society and represent us?
Because
I mean, if you don't know how to control your emotions from a school, a university's debate, then how do you manage the entire Jamaica?
Yeah, and these are the same persons that go out and run, because a lot of these persons that are
a lot of our politicians, male or from Chancellor. Oh my God, PJ participates at Chancellor, right?
Remember that G2K's monthly meetings that used to be held in Chancellor Hall.
Most of them are
Damien Crawford, I think he was the president, and he's from Chancellor.
Yeah, and Crystal Tomlinson was also a VP while she was
a
here.
Taylor, right?
Yeah.
Yes, because I remember, because I expressed that I would have liked to be a member of the G2K. I believe that was when Adrian was running for CAC when I was in my first year. And he was just like, oh yes, our meetings are over by Chancellor, Thursdays at 5. And in my head I was just like, why are we affiliating an entire block to the young professional arm of the national party? Because I was just like, that doesn't seem right. But okay, that's fine. I mean, I personally was not going to go for him. They tell me say a chance like that. I said no thanks. So yeah, because I have friends and they have political ambitions, and they said that was the reason they headed for Chancellor. So when they were applying, you know, the persons who they spoke with, they were like, oh, go there, so that is where you're going to have your political start.
Yeah, right at
definitely.
Right at Chancellor. And a lot of these young men who are running for guild positions are actually just padding their resumes so that they can jump right into the Jamaica Labour Party when this is finished, or the People's National Party, depending on their affiliations. And I also think that that's something that should have been implemented. They shouldn't have been allowed.
That was one of the major concerns as it relates to Janoy. Persons were saying that, why is it Janoy is running for president? How is it that you're going to manage his time as president, youth parliamentarian, among the other things that he does?
Yes, because that
was one of the major concerns.
Yeah.
But they were having major concerns with Christina, saying Christina, how she does a lot of regional, international stuff, and how she's going to manage. And I mean, we all have to manage.
Yeah, she expressed herself really well at the debate, I would say.
Because she's very articulate.
Yeah, I remember somebody asked her, you know, she was like, I think she's one of the VPs for JUT, Jamaica Union of Tertiary Students. And somebody was like, if it comes down to JUT and UWI, who will you choose? Right? Well, I think that was an unfair question, because that question could have also been posed to Jana, because, like, I've seen the amount of things that Jana is a part of the Commonwealth Youth Council.
Right.
Which is higher than...
That is higher than JUT. So, I mean, and I just thought, because when I saw a lot of persons, they were trying to come for Christina, and I will say kudos to you, Christina, on how you handled the debate.
Yes.
I was really amazed, and I'm not afraid to say I did vote for Christina, because I just imagine how she stood her ground, knowing that, you know, she was coming up against the might of Chancellor. And then, because I always look at it like as Trina said, I don't think our guild reps should have a political party affiliation, because that's not what we're doing. We want a group of steadfast persons who can work to better the university. I'm not somebody that wants to give you the platform. And then we look at, there's a lot of tribalism at UWI, because I remember looking at, even though Chancellor didn't dominate the exec, I think looking at the faculty representatives, I think they took over, because they have the SciTech rep, the engineering rep, the SoSci rep. You know, they
always try to dominate.
They have a lot of the reps, and so because somebody said to me the other day that one of they weren't going to vote for any Chancellor, right? And I'm like, well, but here's the thing:
there's no choice though, because most of them are
there,
because they're the ones who, because of the G2K affiliation, they're pushed into
and
political
because of the strong
positions.
Party mindset in Chancellor,
and they're unified. That's one
because
thing.
you know that all the Chancellorites vote for Chancellor. chancellor, right?
Right.
And that they're pushed. They have this brotherhood. I really admire their brotherhood.
Yeah.
For real,
I
for real.
admire their fraternity. It's
lovely.
It's strong, and
However,
I really admire that. But just the way that they go about it,
yes,
it really gets
sometimes it gets.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of them are good. You know, some of them were actually good. And I'm thinking Chancellor does make good leaders. Not every one of them. Some of them, some of them just...
Some of them are ideal.
But they do make some really good leaders over there. So I have to give them props. You know, because I remember saying to Joel McConnell when he was running for AAC, like, I think that Chancellor makes more politicians than it makes lions. That's exactly what I said to Joel McConnell when he was running for AAC.
You know, though, this whole, after the election, I was like, oh, so no McConnell for me EAC, no to do, and a lead, now go do it. I was like, when I realized that the major positions weren't taken over by Chancellor, right, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
People are really looking into things, you know. People are really looking into things.
This year, I believe we have the most females on the guild exec.
In a long while.
Because
the president is Christina, I think, VP of SSP. I think her name is Gabriella Morrison.
Gabriella Morrison from Mercy
Secretary is Brianna Russell. I know EAC is Alicia Ramdal. GCC is, I think, Khadija. Who's also from Seacole. So the women have stepped up. Yes. And I will say women continue to step up because, you know, if it's that you feel that you're not, as a woman, you're not being represented, then go ahead and run.
Because that's what a lot of female students I've seen said. They were just like, we weren't getting what we needed from the majority of the guilds of students because there's a lot of stuff that girls get left out of and things that females need on campus that are being ignored. Same thing with commuters because, you know, everybody live my ass. Nobody don't care about commuters.
And everybody love
guys,
all
like,
of them
I'm so tired to tell hall chairs, where are your plans for the commuters? Like, I understand, like, class ending at 8, but if you're going to have a party at 9 o'clock and then...
Why we're not on a bus?
Why we're not on a bus, one?
So...
Two, where you going to do with the commuters then if we decide to come? Where you going to do? Because I'm for sleep? And people are rob people on campus?
I spoke about this the other day, so I got really upset talking to a couple of my friends because I was saying every single time an election comes around, you people target the commuters because you want their votes. And commuters wise up. Then people, even, I'm a Taylor, right? Miss Taylor 2017, 2018. And these people target off-campus Taylorites because we have the most of attached off-campus Taylorites. Yeah. And I see them yearly, they target them. And after they get the votes,
that's
what are the implementations? I simply said,
gate, vote Gentle for president, this and that. And then after that, you disappear upon away.
I simply said, as if I was putting myself in a commuter's position because once I chose to be a commuter when I was going to come when I decided I'm going to come to UWI. However, that plan changed at last minute. That was like looking at it from a commuter's point of view. I'm saying, if I'm a commuter and I want to get involved, isn't it the commuter's representative duty to say, all right, guess what? I have a group. Something is keeping at Taylor this week. Here what? I'm going to push the proposal to or SSDM or whoever is in charge and say, okay, sir, I need a bus to drop students at a central point. Maybe half a tree.
Yeah, downtown.
I push it to the students in the group, say, who is willing to come to Taylor Big Tree Lime today at 9 and can find their way home after 11 if I let you off at half a tree, which would be a central point. Give them the choice. They don't have a choice. It's just they get in these things and say, oh, we're inviting you to this, to that. But people are thinking, how will I reach home?
How will I get home?
Yeah,
because
like
so give them some choices. It's up to me now to say, oh, well, listen, I don't think I can get from half a tree to my yard after 12 o'clock. So I'll just bypass that. But you have people who will put in place. I have a Taylorite commuting friend. Jillian, big up yourself. Jillian comes to everything. She was a candidate running for the secretariat position on the guild. Jillian comes to every single Taylor event, every single UWI event, and she calls a taxi after hours and whatever. Not much people can afford to do that, but I'm saying if you put them at a position, put them at Alpha Tree or maybe some central point where you know people, taxis always at these places. Somebody follow them, maybe the deputy hall chair, the hall chair follow them, ensure everybody gets on a taxi. If it's a case where, okay, only 10 people agree to come to the party, there must be some provision you can put in place to let them sleep over.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was just
If
about to
you're
say.
not
I
a
was just
dedicated,
about
if
to
you're
say.
not a dedicated commuter who will probably stay over at a friend,
Yeah.
you're just going to be left
Exactly,
out.
for
And
that
I'm saying,
particular
why are you
reason.
targeting these people and then after the election, you don't pay them no man? We need to stop it. And if me have a pitney or a nephew or a auntie or a cousin who are come to university and they're commuting, they will never ever dip their finger in a ink for none of them, because I don't see no provisions being provided for commuters, to be honest.
Because that's the next thing. I remember when I went to vote, they were asking me about hall. They're just like, oh, what hall are you attached to? And I was just like, no, I don't want a hall sheet, because a person from ELR Towers has never come to me, so can I have the commuter's sheet, please? Because it upset me, because I remember the first time I saw someone from Towers, like, here's the thing, they always push, they're at the gate and they might push by and say, hey, come do this. Nobody, because then afterwards I heard that, ELR is having internal elections separate from the ones being held by the university, and that's why they didn't push. But I had decided to take a stand, because I'm just like, I don't know what's going on at all. None of you put out advisories and you don't send out email, because when we signed up, when you get with email address, when you get with number, so I'm gonna email you and tell you, yo, this is going on all, this is what you can get involved in. And it wouldn't even be a hardship for me, because even though I'm a commuter, I live pretty close to school. I live 10 minutes away from school, so I usually walk in the mornings. So it would have been no issue, but they don't reach out to commuting students. And that's a problem, because they want commuting students to give them votes and endorse them in certain incidences. So I just like, no, I don't want a hall sheet, because I don't live on hall. And she's like, oh, you can still vote. I was just like, I don't want a hall sheet. Just give me a commuter's sheet. Thanks.
I must really take the time out to use this medium to actually commend Diane Twaits. You're doing a very good job.
Yes, I know Diane.
You really handled your portfolio, even though some things are not in your position to do. I think you did well for this semester and last semester. So I must really commend you for that.
Alright, so guys, we've spoken really about like political tribalism, the voting process. We spoke about, like some of the recent scandals in Jamaica. We spoke about like voter turnout and having like term limits. So like, are there any other suggestions you'd make to change the political process? Because one of the things I always hear is persons always say, oh, if you don't vote, don't complain. Right? I'm fully against that. If I'm a citizen, I maybe can't vote because I'm disabled. I still have the right to complain. I maybe don't vote because I'm underage. I still have the right to complain. At the end of the day, I'm still a Jamaican citizen. But I do implore all of you guys who, are enumerated, go out and vote. So my suggestion is to start tapping into the 21st century. I think e-voting could be a way forward, because let's say I have a friend who he lives in Clarendon, but he lives on Hall. So when it comes for time for election, he has to go back to Clarendon to vote, and sometimes I think that really makes no sense.
True.
So if we have e-voting, maybe I can log on to a secure network and put in my vote and put the X beside the bell or X beside the head, whichever one you want to do. So my suggestion is really e-voting.
Not just e-voting, but also mailing in your vote, because they do that in some states in America. And since we're pumping so much money into our postal system, you saw recent estimates of how much they're going to pump into the postage system. So give one form, give one sheet to fill out, and we send in our votes ahead of time. Because the same thing that you were saying, because I'm not yet enumerated, but when I am enumerated, I'll be enumerated in Linstead, which is like far. Me no want spend. Not all that far, but when you take bus, and 3 hours for reach at Linstead, and then you don't have to go back Burmady go vote. Burmady is not even where I live. Burmady is where I used to go primary school, so we have to go Burmady, pay $200 taxi fare, go back Burmady. $100 taxi fare come a Spanish Town, $100 for Linstead, $100 come a half a tree, then $100 for come back a yard. That is $1,200.
Exactly.
And them not give me no money. And it's just one day.
One vote.
One vote, one day.
I think another provision that they can look into to facilitate more millennials is calling. You can have us calling, give us a hotline, you call in and provide. I think that's something that they can look into.
Oh yeah, also I believe they should combine local government and general elections because currently local government elections and general elections are on separate days. I just feel like that's a waste of time.
How will you voting that? Will you pay money?
Will you pay money? Because you have to pay the CM electoral officer them 2 times in a year. Just have one election, and they've been talking about that for a while, and it's like, who is our elector general? I
don't remember his name because I think
it was Danville Walker.
Yeah, I think so.
But anyway, Mr. Walker, please look into this because we are lose money off of that. Yeah. Because that's 2 different days we have to be paying electoral workers.
Yeah, I think it costs millions. That's 2 different times. Trina have to pay $1,200.
2 different times.
That's 2,400 in the month.
Only pay $1,200 go home when I want to go see my mother. I'm end up come back at town. Anyway, for Monday morning.
Well,
so listen, suppose I know midweek when she have school in the morning, she cannot tell me home if it's midweek.
My problem is definitely not our electoral system or parliament system. My problem is us. We, the people. What we need to do going forward, we need to educate ourselves. Mm-hmm. We need to break away from this diehardedness. Mm-hmm. We need to sit down, critically analyze who we want to vote for.
Listen, Martin Henry, Shalman Scott, all of them man, Michael Abrams, everybody not right from green a blog and are educated enough in nothing.
We don't read, and that's the problem with our society, you know. We don't read.
And then
people.
Shalman Scott has a great articles. Like if Shalman Scott, if this ever reach your ears, I love reading your articles. Like legit.
in focus, for Sunday can't miss me.
Listen, Shalman is out of this world. Like his writing is. Listen, man, I like, sir, just make sure you hear that one here and come look for me, because his writing is amazing.
Big up Lena Jamaica in focus on Sunday.
Yeah, big up my foreseeable workplace, Lena.
We are the work.
Right, but
we're gonna get it now soon,
on a serious note, though, guys, especially teenagers, millennials, university students, we come here to read for degrees, but we don't really read.
We're not reading.
I'm sorry. Anybody shirt I'm just take off. I say, go just press it up back and put it on back. But we don't read, and that's where the problem lies. We need to gear ourselves up. We need to know our constitution.
True.
We need to know. We just need to know. Read. Critically analyze which party you want. Not because mommy says she vote for PNP, that means you jump on the bandwagon. We have too much bandwagonists. Them bandwagonists chuck you one crash. We need to behave ourselves.
We go up on Twitter. Not just follow Jamaican Twitter and Twitter Times. And Real Solly and all them boy. Follow a couple politicians on Twitter.
I mean, I use Twitter as news.
Tweet. Yes, listen, me get all of my news off of Twitter.
Twitter is my information hub. Me not need nothing. Twitter alone save me.
Since we all love social media, we don't want to open a newspaper.
Exactly.
Use Twitter for positive things.
Instagram update every 5 minutes and them store them in them story. Them articles in a them story. So you just click on a link in a them story.
Their story are nothing past 300 words. So it's not nothing that we get. That's mundane. They're short.
Listen, me know when their dream of a self-page.
Well, listen.
We said, you know, and it shows our mindset in our proper tea. You see tea.
Make them drop.
And ATEJA. I know. I see y'all.
If a tea, then run, go read it, no matter how long the tea be, you know.
So listen, the political tea, the political tea tastes like Cersei.
Yes.
We know it bitter.
But it's good for you.
Drink it.
Purge, no, there. I think it's from
That's enough for drink.
But finally, thank you guys for listening. Thank Trina, Andre, Kim, Sandrine in her absence. Thank you all for listening. So this has been another episode of Millennial Issues, a program about millennials, by millennials,
and for millennials.
See you next time.
So see you next week, guys.
Bye.